let's be clear. You're not understanding anything about what's happening around you, and that's tearing you apart inside even if you won't admit it. No one tells you this because no one has the courage to point out what you've been ignoring for years. That everything you believed about love, about women, about happiness, and the meaning of relationships is a carefully manufactured lie. A lie that has numbed you, that has chained your desires, that has turned you into a shadow seeking validation where there is only indifference. Maybe you still wake up hoping everything will change, dreaming of that perfect story where you are the hero and the world suddenly starts turning in your favor. But no, the world will never turn in your favor, especially if you keep looking at reality through the foggy glass of romanticism. It's a drug, you know it, an addiction to hope. But here is the first truth that no one wants to tell you. Hope, when it comes to love, is the cause of your greatest misery. Arthur Schopenhauer warned about this brutally centuries ago. But no one listened because his message hurts. You face reality with the wrong tools, as if you were trying to open a steel door with a feather. It doesn't work. It never has. Men, generation after generation, have been indoctrinated in idealism, vulnerability, excessive surrender. And the reward is always the same: frustration, emptiness, loneliness. Do you wonder why? Today, we're going to unearth the truth that Schopenhauer threw like a dagger into the heart of self-complacency. A truth men keep ignoring because it's more comfortable to live on illusions than to face the harshness of biological dynamics. Because when the truth is so painful, the mind prefers the refuge of fantasy rather than confronting reality. Look around you. How many men do you see completely lost in the labyrinth of love? Men who juggle emotions, who crawl in messages, who beg for a minimum of attention, who tolerate disdain and rejection just for the promise of a company that, deep down, is never real. It's pathetic. But even more pathetic is not understanding why it happens. The secret, if it can be called that, is that the selection has never been in your hands. Since the beginning of time, the woman is the one who chooses. It's not a matter of morality, nor justice, nor social evolution. It's pure biology, an ancestral programming that eludes any modern narrative. And if you don't accept it, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes until life decides to break you completely. Don't get it wrong. Women are not fallen angels nor manipulative demons. They're not better or worse than you. They are survival strategists, guardians of a selection process that ignores your feelings and your efforts. They analyze, compare, choose based on parameters of power, resources, stability. It's not about love, nor destiny, nor soul compatibility. It's selection, simple and brutal. Meanwhile, you, blinded by the image of the perfect muse, throw yourself into the void every time a look smiles at you. You can't help it. You are conditioned to react to beauty, to seek female validation as if your existence depended on it. And in a way, it does. Biology has made you dependent on external recognition, conquest, approval. But approval is ephemeral, fleeting, a devalued coin that slips through your fingers every time you try to hold on to it. And this is where the perverse game begins. Because while you seek love, they seek survival. While you offer romanticism, they ask for stability. While you melt over a simple like on social media, they analyze your moves, your status, your ability to provide. It's not cruelty, it's strategy. And strategy, like any good game, is played silently, with a cold blood that destroys the most innocent dreamers. But this is only the beginning. Modern society, far from correcting this asymmetry, has multiplied it. Social networks have amplified hypergamy to grotesque levels. Before, a woman chose from her close circle. Now she competes and selects among thousands, even millions. The comparison is constant. Dissatisfaction is endemic. The threshold of demands rises to the absurd. And you, meanwhile, keep believing that just being a good person is enough. Foolish. The laws, the media, the dominant narrative have created a playing field where male vulnerability is penalized and female selectivity is applauded. And so, thousands of men kneel before an empty altar, waiting for a reward that will never come. They give themselves, expose themselves, beg for crumbs, ignoring that admiration and desire are not begged for. They are inspired, generated, provoked. Schopenhauer, with a lucidity that still terrifies, described romantic love as a mirage, a biological illusion designed exclusively to ensure reproduction. Love, that feeling we idolize, is nothing but the makeup of an ancestral impulse. It doesn't seek your happiness. It doesn't seek your fulfillment. It doesn't even seek your well-being. It seeks to perpetuate the species and nothing more. Do you feel the emptiness? It's normal. You've spent years building castles in the air, hoping reality will bend to your desires. But reality is inflexible, and every time you crash against it, you become weaker, more dependent, more anxious. Do you know how many men are right now sitting in silence, repressing their desires, afraid of being rejected, ridiculed, ignored? The answer is terrifying, almost all. And meanwhile, the rules of the game have never changed. Only the scenery has. Before it was the village square, today it's Instagram. But the mechanism is identical. She selects, you compete. And if you don't meet the requirements, you are invisible. Worse yet, if you only meet them halfway, you will be used as a bargaining chip, as entertainment, as plan B for a boring night. But don't get it wrong. This is not an attack on women, nor a justification for resignation. It's simply the recognition of the true nature of the game. Schopenhauer didn't hate women. He hated the lie, self-deception, hypocrisy of those who believe love is pure, selfless, unconditional. It's not. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can stop being a victim and start acting intelligently. Now stop for a second and look back. How many times have you been the one chasing, begging, insisting? How many times have you ignored your own interests to please, to fit in, to prove you are different? And what have you achieved? Exactly. Anxiety, resentment, disillusionment. Because the equation never changes. The one who begs, loses. The one who puts the woman on a pedestal condemns himself to irrelevance. Psychology is relentless in this field. The male brain has evolved to overvalue female validation. Every time you receive a sign of interest, your dopamine spikes. Every time you're ignored, the alarm system activates, and you fall into a cycle of emotional dependency. It's not love, it's addiction. And like any addiction, it slowly consumes you, robs you of energy, clarity, dignity. Meanwhile, the woman who selects never feels that urgency. She can wait, compare, reject, filter. And she does. Not because she's evil, but because she can afford it. Because biology has given her the power of choice, the time to mature, the ability to distinguish between the man who's worth it and the one who just seeks approval. And most men, unfortunately, only seek approval. Here's the secret no one will ever tell you. Romantic love, just as they sold it to you, is the greatest emotional scam in history. And the sooner you understand it, the sooner you can stop begging and start negotiating. Negotiation, the real kind, doesn't consist of begging for attention, but in setting your own terms. Don't fool yourself. In life, only those with options are respected. And to have options, you have to stop needing. You have to learn to live with the possibility of rejection, loneliness, indifference. Only then can you break the spell. Think about this. Every time you put a woman at the center of your universe, you become a satellite, an accessory, an interchangeable piece. Female psychology detects desperation like a predator smells blood, and desperation is the greatest repellent. If you want to regain control, you have to learn to invert the equation. Desire is not begged for, it's inspired. Respect is not demanded, it's provoked. The problem is you've been trained your whole life to do exactly the opposite. You were taught to be chivalrous, to put others' needs above your own, to prove you are different. But the difference is not in submission, but in independence. No one respects someone willing to betray their own principles for a bit of attention. Do you know what's truly disturbing? That the entire system is designed to keep you confused. The movies, the songs, the stories you've consumed since childhood have brainwashed you. They convinced you that unconditional surrender is a virtue, that vulnerability is attractive, that being sensitive will open the gates of paradise. Reality is different. Reality rewards autonomy, confidence, scarcity. The one who needs the least gets the most. The one who seeks the least finds the most. The one who surrenders the least becomes the most desired. But there is something even darker. If you think understanding all this will make you unhappy, you're wrong. True unhappiness is born from ignorance, self-deception, useless hope. When you accept reality as it is, when you stop hoping for the impossible, everything changes. Pain becomes clarity, anxiety becomes strategy, need becomes choice. Schopenhauer was hated, ridiculed, canceled before the word existed. But he never stopped repeating the truth that hurts the most. Love is nothing but the mask of the biological will, and that will uses you, squeezes you, abandons you when you're no longer useful. Happiness is an accident, not a destiny. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can move freely in a world that rewards the awake and punishes the foolish. Look how society has reinforced the confusion. Every time you turn on your phone, you see thousands of men kneeling, celebrating every tiny sign of attention as if it were a miracle. Do you know why this happens? Because modern man has been stripped of his power. Masculinity has been ridiculed, self-sufficiency turned into a sin, desire into guilt. And so, generation after generation, men crawl, hoping to be chosen by someone who will never see them as equals. But there is still a way out. The first step is the most painful. Accept that you are not special, that no one owes you anything, that the world is not here to reward your good intentions. Life is not fair. Love even less. When you finally accept it, fear disappears. You expect nothing anymore, and that's when you start winning. Freedom is born the moment you stop expecting, stop begging, stop believing. At that instant, you can begin to build your own value, not to please, but to choose. The only validation that matters is yours. Only then can you look anyone in the eye, without fear, without anxiety, without need for approval. Schopenhauer said it brutally. Love is a biological trap, a strategy of nature to perpetuate the species. It's not here to make you happy, it's here to use you. And when you understand that, you stop being the victim of your own expectations. Now, think carefully. How many opportunities have you let pass for fear of rejection? How many times have you given up on your dreams to please someone who never valued your effort? How much longer are you going to be a hostage of an illusion? Life slips through your fingers while you seek the approval of someone who doesn't even remember your name. But here comes the final paradox. When you stop needing, when urgency disappears, the game changes. You are the one who chooses,
who filters, who sets your own conditions. Indifference is power, and that power, when you master it, makes you the exception. So the real question is not whether you will find true love. The question is, will you let biology and society use you like a pawn? Or will you wake up and reclaim control over your life? The answer depends only on you. You can keep dreaming, hoping, begging, or you can open your eyes and become the protagonist of your own story. The truth is out there, waiting to be accepted. Schopenhauer shouted it in solitude because most prefer the comfort of lies. But you have no excuse anymore. Now you know. Love, as you imagine it, doesn't exist. And that, painful as it is the best news you will ever receive in your life. Because when you stop searching outside what has always been inside, you are finally free. And freedom, that yes, is real. But wait, don't lower your guard yet. This is where most people disconnect, thinking they've heard enough. Right now is when the truly interesting part begins, what no one else dares to tell you. Because the truth is, even if you've accepted the harshness of the rules, even if you've seen the trap and understood biology, there's still one more step. One step that separates the awakened from those who only pretend to be awake. Think for a second. If the entire narrative about love is a veil, a screen for survival and validation, what sense does it make then to open yourself to someone? Why, despite everything, do we keep looking for that look, that touch, that moment of connection amidst the chaos? Here lies the final paradox, the masterstroke of human psychology. The ability to create meaning where there was only instinct. Because even though nature uses you, even though society programs you, you still have the unique ability to decide how to interpret the game. Yes, most fall into the trap, but a few, very few, manage to hack the system. Those few do not resign themselves to biology, they use it. They don't give up on connection, but they no longer seek approval, nor fill voids, nor give away their power. They turn every experience into a choice, not a need. Look around you. The world is full of people who survive, but almost no one truly lives. Almost no one dares to look the void in the face and plant their own flag in the middle of the desert. The trick is not to run away from love, nor to hate women, nor to reject vulnerability. The trick is to look at all the brutality of the game and still dare to play it, but by your own rules. Can you imagine the power of being able to be alone, without fear, without anxiety, and still choose to share your time with someone? Can you imagine the magnetism of being free inside and, for that very reason, never again being used? That is what the mediocre will never understand. That true power is not avoiding pain, but learning to go through it and still keep moving forward with a conspiratorial smile on your lips. Because in the end, victory is never for the one who begs the most, nor for the one who waits the most, nor for the one who sacrifices the most. Victory belongs to those who have already lost the fear of losing. Those are the ones who, ironically, become impossible to lose. So remember this: most live in survival mode, begging for attention and validation. Only a few learn to move by choice, not by need. You decide whether you stay where you are, repeating the cycle, or if you break the mold and for the first time, act with a clear mind and a cold heart. And now tell me, will you keep playing with marked cards, hoping chance will save you? Or will you be the one who shuffles again, who decides when to deal, when to fold, and when to bet everything without fear of the void? Do me a favor. If you've made it this far, I want you to leave in the comments a phrase: "I choose my rules, not my need." Only those who have truly understood the video will do it, Only those who have felt the vertigo of freedom and the vertigo of solitude at the same time. Subscribe now, because here you won't hear the usual. Here we won't sugarcoat reality, nor sell you cardboard dreams. Here you will find the truths no one wants to face, and the tools to stop being a victim and start being the architect of your own story. Most turn off the video and go back to sleep. But you can't sleep the same after this. See you in the next one. But remember, those who truly awaken never close their eyes again. Until then, let the world burn if necessary. Because today, for the first time, you haven't just heard the truth. You've felt it. And that feeling, it never leaves. See you soon, player.